Okay, so Mercury retrograde runs from October 12th, today, to November 3rd, but the shadow started on September 23rd. So if you think back, September 23rd, you were kind of already starting into the themes and the shadowy aspect of Mercury retrograde. Some people find that the shadow affects them more than the retrograde actually does, it particularly in not being able to know the right words, like boom blaster, for instance, or just crossed wires, just like the ways that, you know, or you'll drop a lot of things. I find Mercury retrograde has a lot of clumsiness, since we're going to talk about the body, in the body. And the shadow lasts until November 19th. So even when November 3rd happens, there will be a sort of initial opening, and then, but it will keep running until November 19th, particularly because Mars is in retrograde as well. So it's still kind of holding things off. It's kind of like, I feel like this happened in cartoons where like a little scrappy dog would be like running, and then another dog would like have its paw on the forehead, and like that little dog, it just wants to get going. That's Mars. It wants to get going. It's like running at the door. It's like ready to go, but like the retrograde is just holding its forehead. So even the things that you're working through in Mercury retrograde, they will start to come out a little bit, but not as much as when Mars comes out of retrograde, which is on November 12th, 13th. It's sometime in November. I didn't write that down because that was kind of a tangent. So we've got Mercury and Mars in retrograde. Also today, specifically today, Mars is the closest to Earth that it's been in a very long time. I can't remember the year, but it won't be this close again until 2035. So there's also a lot of Mars energy coming in. So impulsivity, anger, aggression, frustration, all those sorts of like heated, Mars is the god of war. So that kind of hyper masculine energy. And you may find yourself being combative, and that could be actually how things kick off. So the big theme that came up for me when I was working through this Mercury retrograde, I'm not an astrologer, but like I work through the charts of energies. I don't know. The big thing that was coming up was imbalances in communication and partnerships, specifically in partnerships, looking at what is the communication dynamic in a partnership, and not only like romantic partnerships, but business partnerships as well, or friendships, roommates, that kind of thing. And it will highlight also the difference in depth. So it may become like, maybe, it's a good example of that. I guess like intelligence is something that can become momentarily more obvious. So you may be having a conversation with someone and you think that you're on the same page, and you are, you both believe in the same things, but their depth is maybe not as deep as yours. Let's say, let's make you the deeper one. And, or it could be the other way. That could very well happen as well. But let's say that this person, it's your friend, and they say something, and you realize like it may make you feel like you aren't on the same page. It may make you feel like you don't agree, because you suddenly realize that you're operating at different depths. They're thinking of it at a much shallower level than you are, for instance, or vice versa. And so it could really highlight those things and those kinds of imbalances in relationships. The other thing to take note of is, who are you struggling to get the message across to? So really becoming aware of who those people are. Who are the people that you are, I was talking about this earlier. So like if you are speaking to someone and you just cannot understand what they're saying, like it comes out almost like a different language, or like almost like they're speaking backwards. Sometimes that can happen, that it's just like a bunch of sounds and you're looking at them, or you get them to repeat themselves over and over and over again. They're asking a very simple question, but it's not for you. You can't hear it. It's worth noting who those people are, because it could be that there is a lot of adaptive behavior in relation to those people when it's not Mercury retrograde. So you may be compensating for a deficit in communication that you're not aware of, and as you move through Mercury retrograde, it's going to highlight that. So relationships are going to undergo trials. Deep issues may be coloring how you relate to each other. So that's the other thing, is that okay, so Mercury is in retrograde in Scorpio at first, and then it goes into Libra. So in Scorpio, we're looking at deep depths, deep emotions. Scorpio is like the planet of Pluto. It's like, you know, your shadows. It's the deep, dark depths, the things that like maybe people don't even know about you, or that you don't even know about yourself. It depends on where you are in your journey. And so these things are, whether we're conscious of it or not, are informing how we're looking at people. So anybody who has like PTSD is getting triggered like almost constantly right now. And it is coloring how you view other people and how you communicate with other people. So if you feel like someone said something to you, you're like, that's kind of weird, or it doesn't sound like you, it may be that they're projecting. There could be a lot of projecting happening right now, and anybody that you know that projects or gaslights is going to be on fire. Like they're going to be on top of their game right now. So there's going to be a lot of and some of us do it like accidentally. It's like a learned habit. Like don't take it to mean that you're a toxic person, but it's worth kind of catching yourself and being like, oh, I think I just projected that onto that person, you know. And fair enough if it's someone that you're comfortable enough to like have that conversation with and say like, I feel like I projected that onto you and this is where I'm coming from, then that's great. Deeper conversations may be favored right now. On the other side of that spectrum, and this would probably be based on your other placements, some of us may not want to have deep conversations, and those deep things may be very kept very personal and dealt with in a very internal way with your guides, your ancestors, that kind of thing. So some people are experiencing a surge of deep communication, and some people, and it could be the people that deeply communicate on a regular basis, are doing the opposite. They're kind of like holding it in. And so it could be that the deep communicators may find that a lot of people are trying to come to them with those sorts of things, and they may find themselves listening a lot. I love how I'm just assuming that my viewer is the deep people. You guys are probably the deep ones. But if you're not, that's okay too. Like, you know, I'm not going to use a personal example for that, but you know, sometimes you end up like with someone who's really thought something out that you haven't thought about, and that's okay. That's lovely too, because you get to experience, you know, what they've sort of dredged up from the depths, and it's always a learning experience, albeit maybe a difficult learning experience. So there's going to be potential for conflicts over ideas. And that's, again, like saying the same thing, but it ends up as an argument. So have you ever had an argument with someone where you at some point, maybe you or they recognize that you agree, but you're arguing? Like you have different points of view about the same thing, but you don't, but you still continue to argue. Like there's just for some reason, and this is the Mars influence, I believe, in this Mercury retrograde, is this like, just like, I agree with you. Okay, I think I agree with you too. But maybe you're using different language. Maybe you came at it from different angles, but for some reason you just can't see how you're agreeing. Like it feels like you don't, but you do. That's something that you may find comes up a lot. So that comes to a really great point, that this is a good time to take a break. From, if you start to see who the people are that you're struggling to communicate with, take a break from them. Take a break from partnerships. Take a break from, not partnerships necessarily and like break up with them or don't talk to them, but take a break from deep communication with them. Or vice versa. It depends on which side you're on, and I think that you will know, because you'll already be feeling like, I don't really want to communicate right now, or you'll be feeling like, I really feel the need to deeply communicate. Again, for those of us who are deep communicators, it's on a regular basis. You may find that there are people coming to you, you're going to be listening to a lot of stories. If you are that person already, it could be like, and when I say deep, it could be a lot more people coming to you about their dreams and that kind of thing, or just like an unexpected people as well that wouldn't normally talk to you about those sorts of things. So that's something to watch out for, and just be ready for like kind of holding that space if that's something that you want to do, or being able to communicate that you're just like, you really don't have the energy right now. But don't make any decisions about people at this time. And again, until the shadow is over, like November 19th, so like late November, it wouldn't be a great idea to make any fast and hard decisions about anything, not just about people. This isn't really a good time to sign contracts. So if you've been working on something and it just so happens to land, like the signing happens to land in a Mercury retrograde, that's different. But it's like, if the seed, like if everything emerges during Mercury retrograde, it could be that there's like all kinds of delays. There could be crossed wires. There could be like, you know, a clause in a contract that was missed, or like that was really important. But if it's something where it just, you know, like it's been growing for a long period of time, and it just so happens that like now's the time to like buy the house or whatever, like don't necessarily put your life on hold for that. And just don't make too many decisions about the miscommunications that you're having with people, because it could just be that it's through this period, or it's something that you need to learn. But also in the quiet of taking space from those people, or from people in general, you may individually come to conclusions that are going to be helpful for each other later. So that things are coming in, lessons are being learned, that like when you share them later, they will be able to be integrated, where if you were to share them now, it wouldn't stick. It wouldn't have the same potency. And okay, so what that means is that when Mercury goes direct, it could revitalize the relationship. It could revitalize the communication in that relationship, partnership, whatever it is. Or it could be that you gained the insights you needed to make necessary decisions about dissolving that partnership. And whatever you go through this period is really going to help you to prepare for that, and it may not be pleasant. It's almost like experiencing grief before a death, that you kind of get the feel of it before it even happens. You feel the breakup before you break up, that kind of thing. This may be a time that you are tempted to fall back on overthinking and block out unpleasant feelings or memories. But Mercury will not allow this. This is not going to be allowed. So the more you try and block out these kinds of thoughts, all of that Scorpio junk that's coming up from the bottom, the more you will lose your keys, the more technology will fail you, the more your wires will get crossed in your small communication. Like, you'll order something in a drive-through and you'll get like the wrong thing. You know, those crossed wires are going to be enhanced the more you ignore what's coming up. Mercury just does not want to allow you not to look at this stuff right now. So in partnerships, this means that we cannot fall back on the false boundaries or the walls we typically use to protect ourselves. So false boundaries, walls, that could even be conceding. So let's say in a relationship, you concede in an argument. This is just a comfort thing because the other person is a hard driving arguer and you're more mutable, and so you just concede. That is a false boundary because you're not compromising, you're not coming to a center place, you're not agreeing, you're just letting it go. And so that is a type of wall, that is a type of false boundary between a connection, because neither is really getting their needs met in that situation, in that conversation, when that happens, when someone keeps drilling and the other person concedes. Neither is in a good space. Like, no one is virtuous in that situation. And so this is something that's just not even going to be available to you. So like, if you have put up mechanisms for dealing with people, you may find that wall is just not there. So it's going to be a lot of raw communication. If you're someone who's done a lot of work on yourself, you may think, have I done any work on myself? Because, you know, I'm snapping at this person like I normally would, or I'm, you know, like, I'm fiery, so that's my best example. I'm snapping at this person because most of my mechanisms are to put a boundary between myself and another person, my temper and another person. And so anyone who's fire will understand what I'm talking about there. For some people, it may be, for a more watery person, it may be that, you know, you have a way of like concealing that you're very emotional, and that just will not be available to you. Like, everyone's going to see that you're emotional. So it's really like the mask's coming off. It's really like shedding the layers and being very raw. So some questions that you might want to ask yourself through this is, how are you showing up in your partnerships? How are you communicating in your partnerships? And what have you concealed? This is what's going to be revealed to you through Mercury retrograde, potentially. So I'm very interested to know, after November 19th, how this all played out. Here we are at the beginning. And that's all I have to say on that right now. So I'm gonna pause. Remember last time when I didn't pause? Or like,
are you gonna do it for 20 minutes? Okay.
Mercury and technology. Here we go. So we're just gonna do a nice little stretch practice, maybe about half an hour. If you want to grab a blanket, make yourself cozy. So hopefully you're wearing some cozy clothes. find a pillow, a bolster, a block, something to support your hips so you can come into like a seated meditation position. And I will meet you on the mat and have a lovely practice. This is Mercury retrograde, by the way, so it's meant to be all over the place and crazy when it comes to communication and scatteredness. But we are going to open the neck, the shoulders, the heart, and get into that. All right. So I've been sitting in this cross-legged position for an hour already. It's all good. You know, we're just gonna have more of it. So letting the knees drop down to the earth, letting the crown of the head lift, roll the shoulders down and back, close your eyes, come into the space of your third eye. Bring your right thumb to the center of your third eye. Holding here, applying gentle pressure. Taking long, slow, deep breaths, relaxing the shoulders, lifting the belly, long spine. Gentle pressure. And release. Allow that space to open. Feel currents of energy rippling out like around a stone that's just been thrown in a still lake. And then bringing both thumbs to the temples, begin to draw a circle. One way. Finding your breath, relaxing as best you can the shoulder. And then reverse the circle. If you were going clockwise, going counterclockwise. And then rest, applying gentle pressure to the temples. Relaxing the fingers, cross them over your forehead. And look out through your third eye. Deep breath. Release your arms to your side. Drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Perfect Mercury slip. Drop your shoulder to your ear. And open the right side neck, walk the fingertips out. Opening the right side neck. You can also place the left hand gently on the head, but don't apply any pressure. Allow it to rest here. Deep opening. And we begin to tip the chin up toward the sky, opening the front edge. So you can even run a finger down behind the ear or whatever feels nice or right. And again, draw a circle wherever it feels right. Maybe up at the jaw, maybe up behind the ear. And begin to tip the chin down toward the earth, keeping the left ear toward the left shoulder. And this is another opportunity to draw some circles with the back of the head. We will get into that space again later. Maybe you draw your focus toward the center of the neck. Another option is to just gently move from side to side. Anything that feels tight, And this may feel all the way down into the shoulder blade, depending on what you've got going on there. And then drop the chin toward the chest. Both hands, fingertips to the earth. Lift and lengthen the spine. Tuck the chin in. More and more and more. Feeling that opening at the back of the neck. So this is where we bring our thumbs. If you have short hair or ponytail, that's best. And we're going to bring our thumbs to the base of the skull and draw a circle. So this could be really tender for some people, being gentle. Still remaining with the breath. And a tall spine, chin tucked, working along the base of the skull. And begin to bring your head back to center, holding both thumbs at the base on either side of the spine. And let your head drop back into your hand, opening the elbows out, opening the chest. Lift the belly. And slowly bring the head back to center, fingertips to the earth. Right ear to right shoulder. Walk the left fingertips out. So you can gauge where your hand needs to be. Sometimes for people it's hovering above the earth, maybe placing something underneath the fingertips. Maybe it's bringing it close to the body. Taking a moment to check in with the lower body. Are you clenching your toes, your knees, your hips? Letting that go. You could start to draw a circle or gently move the skin back and forth along the tightest part in the neck. Now tipping the chin up toward the sky. Working the front edge of the neck. Where can you draw those circles? Where is it needed? You clench your jaw. This is going to feel really good or really bad, depending on your perspective. Working out those tight spaces in the neck. And beginning to tip the chin down toward the earth. Right ear stays toward the shoulder. And again, left fingertips out to the side. So this could be where you take your right hand and draw some circles. Edges where it's needed. Zigzagging back and forth. The stretch doesn't feel as deep if you use your left hand. Listen to what feels right in your body. Opening that back edge of the neck. Down into the shoulder. And begin to drop the right hand down to the earth if you had it lifted. Tuck the chin in toward the chest. Once again, lift and lengthen the spine. Bring your thumbs to the back of the head, the base of the skull, moving along that line. Maybe you send the thumbs around the spine, the cervical spine, down the neck a little bit. And then allowing your thumbs to rest at the base of the skull. Interlace the fingers behind the head. Open the chest and heart. Draw the elbows toward one another. Lifting the chin up toward the sky. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the belly. Opening now, begin to tip over toward the left side. And then over toward the right side. So keeping the arms as they are. Gently from side to side. One more time each side. Release your arms. Switch the cross of your feet. I'm gonna let you take a moment to adjust. Maybe you've got something underneath the knees. Finding some stability in the lower body, releasing tension in the lower body, lifting and lengthening the upper body. Reach your arms out wide, drawing the backs of the hands toward one another. Open, open, open. Lift your heart toward the sky. Inhale the arms up. Right hand comes to the right shoulder, left arm reaches around. You can use a strap here or a belt to connect the hands, or connect the right and left hand together behind the back. Drawing the right elbow back, the left elbow in. Keep and maintain a straight spine. So your spine may want to curve to bring the hands together. It's better to have a straight spine than to have your hands connect. Keeping your chin parallel to the floor, perhaps your eyes are crossed, keeping your focus on that third eye. What do you see in that space? Breathing into this opening. And release the hand. Fingertips to the earth. Lift and lengthen the spine. Find peace here. Ground down through the fingertips. With all of the chaotic energy of Mercury and Mars, you may think of it as two little boys up to no good, up to some mischief. And the best way to navigate that kind of energy is just to ground yourself, to not get caught up in their chaos, to observe so that you know when to jump in and when to reserve. Let's lift the arms up, drawing the backs of the hands together, nice big, like you're going to come into a giant bear hug. Bend the fingertips back, feel the opening in the wrist. Deep breath, lift the chest. Inhale the arms up. Left hand comes to the left shoulder, right arm reaches around behind the back, connecting the fingers together, or placing a belt between the hands. So one hand grabs the belt from above, one below, and using that to straighten the spine so that you can find alignment here rather than curving the spine, to simply just to bring the hands together. We feel that right shoulder roll back as the left elbow draws back. Become aware of your lower body, checking in here as well. What's going on in your hips, your toes, your ankle? Is anything gripping? Is anything sympathetic? Notice what areas are sympathetic. Perhaps your right shoulder and your left hip are connected, communicating. What lines of communication are being shown to you in the body at this time? And begin to release. Bringing your fingertips to the earth, grounding down. Feel the ground rise up through your fingertips. Up through the knuckle, into the palm, and wrist, moving up your arm. Drawing this earth energy upward. Grounding as it goes. More and more. Up and up and up through the belly. Drawing this earth energy upward to the chest, the shoulders, the arms. Letting everything drop down from the ear, lengthening the neck. But feeling the grounding, hold it in place easily, without stress or strain. And that beautiful grounded feeling moves through the face, jaw. You cease that striving, that trying in the body. You feel yourself fully grounded here. Begin to extend the legs out long in front of you. Allow yourself to come down off of your blanket or your pillow just slightly. So the fleshy part of the bum might be still up, but the sits bones are down. Reaching out through the heels of the feet. Lifting the crown of the head, fingertips next to the hips, drawing the elbows together. And staying nice and fixed in the legs. Step your right hand out. Plant the palm. Step your other hand out, planting the palm. Lifting. Gently connecting those fingertips to the earth, pointing away from you like rays of sunshine. Deep breath. Begin to gently lift the fingertips up off the earth, holding the palm just a few inches off the earth. So the only difference is that your palms are now lifted. Still along the spine, strong in the core. Wiggle the toes to release tension in the knees if they're taking themselves too seriously. Letting the palms communicate with the ground and space. Begin to lift them just a little bit higher. The fingertips get further away from you. Communicating the palm to the earth connection. And again, the palms lift. A little bit more, fingertips moving out further from you. So lifting the belly. And again, they lift. Still communicating with the earth. Feeling that grounding sensation between the palms and the stability. Lifting up now. Perhaps your wrists are in line with your shoulder. We're almost there. Can you still feel that connection? Lifting one more time. Reaching out through the fingertips, long from finger to finger on either side. Out through the reach. The ring finger, middle finger, index finger. Reaching out. Feeling that connection between palm and earth. Let the fingers go and touch the earth. Stand your right foot to the outside of the left knee and let your hands rest just below the right knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Find your breath. Begin to lift and lengthen the spine. Hook your left elbow around the right knee and send the right fingertips back behind you, lifting and lengthening the spine. Twist, go over the shoulder. Bring it back through center. Extend the right leg out long. Stand the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Holding here. Resting your hands just underneath the left knee. So that can help to draw the left knee in towards center, or you can bring your hands to either side of the hip. So this may intensify this way for you, or this may intensify for you, or simplify. So finding whichever feels right to you in this moment. Drawing the crown of the head up, nice long spine. Wiggling the right toes so that that knee doesn't take itself too seriously. Begin to hook the right elbow around the left knee, left fingertips behind you, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist, look over the shoulder. Begin to unwind back to center. And if your legs are not aligned with your mat, bringing them in alignment with the mat. Heels at the base of the mat. And then finding a rolled up blanket, bolster, or a block. Place it underneath the shoulder blades and lower yourself down. So the bottoms of the arms should be at the top of the pillow, the bolster, the rolled up blanket. A rolled up blanket is a great option. If you've got a block, it goes between the shoulder blades, avoiding the neck, sticking to that upper back space. And then bringing the crown of the head to the earth. So if you can get a block or a stack of books or a large rolled up blanket, if you have a bolster, a greater height so that you can come to the top of the head is really beneficial here. As we begin to rinse out all of the throat gunk out the crown of the head and into the earth. Throat gunk. Deep in meditation with our throat gunk. Arms out to the sides, palms facing up with the fingers relaxed. What are your hips doing? What are your toes doing? Are they gripping? Are they release? Are they relax? And then bring your hands to your head, finding that base of your neck, or just below the skull, what I meant. And lift your head, drawing it out from the body. Just gently drawing it out, lengthen that neck, and then slowly release it back down, crown of the head to the earth, arms out to your side. So you can do that as many times as you need to until you feel like your neck is the right amount of length, that you feel more comfort here. You can also move your hips from side to side to make more comfort in the hip and the thumb. Here we go, sending out our throat gunk, our communication goo, things that get stuck in our throat, things we're afraid to say, that may be indications or that may be things that push the plot, and we want to stay comfortable. So we don't ask that boy how he feels about us so that we can stay in this space of unknowing. We can't ever fully be rejected. We're never asking for that promotion and just assuming you won't get it. Seems like a safer place than asking and finding out that the answer is no. We're going to reset that in ourselves here tonight. We're going to imagine what it would be like to boldly step forward and say how you feel, or ask for what you need. And instead of imagining rejection, we imagine ourselves whole and being able to accept whatever the answer may be, whatever outcome, without it meaning something about us. If you are someone who appreciates a mantra, your mantra might be, I communicate what I have concealed. I communicate what I conceal. Dedicate yourself to this communication through Mercury Retrograde. I communicate what I conceal. Allowing yourself to step out from behind whatever you've been hiding behind. we're too much in our heads, and that's what can throw us off during a time like this. So let's embrace being in our intuition, being grounded, that crown and earth connection we're establishing now. When you're ready, remove the bolster from beneath your shoulder blades or the blanket, trying to stay low to the ground. So not coming up to seated, but staying as low as possible, bringing yourself down all the way to the earth. My bolster won't let me. Okay, there we go. Graceful transition. So coming into full corpse pose, letting your back rest on the earth. Palms facing up, feet falling out to the side, hips relax, knees relax, everything sinking into the earth. And if any of the throat goo has gotten stuck in your sinuses, in your forehead, you're going to vibrate it out using the lip. So this is where you're going to be really glad you're in the privacy of your own home. It's that bringing the lips together, and then, and you may get a bunch of spit on your face, but you're just going to go with it. Take a deep breath in and then breathe out that way. Breathe in. Last one, breathe out. Let your jaw rest, let your face rest. By throat goo. Remember this mellow deliciousness. Anytime frustrations run high, wires get crossed, important words are left unsaid. Find this mellow, find this connection to earth. If your mind wanders, come back to the space between your eyebrows. Now lovingly charged with the energy of our practice. You battled through releases you didn't even know. Let this practice be symbolic of those battles. Let it all go. Let it all release into the earth. A hush washes over you. Staying here for a few moments longer, enjoying this mellow, hushed breath. As you're ready, start to bring your awareness back into your body. If you're practicing at home and would like to just transition to bed, maybe visualize the next steps, but you may remain still. If you have more things to do with your night, just some gentle movements, not too much. Coming back more into consciousness than to your body. Still grounding with each fingertip. Turning over onto your right side into the fetal position. We'll take a moment, as always, in all of our practices to acknowledge gratitude, to find something that we're grateful for today. We can never reflect on gratitude too much. Gratitude is the greatest armor we have in this life, allowing us to be vulnerable and strong at once, which we will need to express our kindness without feeling weak. In gratitude, we can be direct. We can speak our love without fear. When you're ready, press into the palm and bring yourself up to seated, finding a comfortable seat. And we'll close our practice together. And so as we move through our next month or so of Mercury, perhaps we revisit some of the things that we have worked through in our body. remembering that these are important areas to work on and to tend to in ourselves. Turning your palms forward, we end with a circle of connection from the root that connects us all, from the song that sings the universe. Feel this energy, receive it through your palms, and let it surge up into the heart space. And you may see before you anyone you feel needs connection. Place them in this circle. They are here with us. And as we ground down into this root and we hear the song, we begin to receive through our right and give through our left. Full within ourselves, we embrace the flow of giving and receiving. In through the right and out through the left. Nothing is stored, nothing is stopped. A continuous flow. In and out. This loving connection weaves through us all. Draw your hands to your chest, feeling into your heart, knowing that this connection is there for you whenever you should need it, simply by connecting with the heartbeats, connecting with the breath, or the memory of this practice. Thank you for sharing this practice. I'll wait. I hope you all had a wonderful practice. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if anything came up. I'm so very grateful for all of you.